Alright, I am back with another Outriders video. It was a coin flip today whether I wanted to dive into the whole Destiny toxicity debate from this weekend, or which is kind of tangentially related to the guy who's now getting sued for harassing Bungie and making 13 alternate accounts after being banned. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little exhausted, so I'd rather come back with my first video after being sick and have it just be something a little more fun, which is my latest Outriders build, which will not get as many views, but I don't care. Sorry, my voice is still a little off, but I am doing my best here. I have been playing pretty much just Outriders. I will go back to Destiny tomorrow for Solstice, but I started a brand new Technomancer that I just wanted to level on PC here to capture some footage, and I just like playing on PC better than controller, especially with third-person games, even though I have 4 fully leveled characters on Xbox for Outriders that I had going into the expansion, but I've converted over almost fully to PC now. This is my Technomancer that I did a level skip to 30, but you still have to grind through all the Apocalypse levels. I am not super high yet. I am just at Apocalypse level 20 out of 40, so that you do start at 1 when you do the level skip, so it did take a while to get here. This build is loosely based on Glad's turret builds, which I don't even know if he came up with it in the first place, but that is the one I am kind of mostly using here. But it is kind of a jack of all trades build in which you are using freezing skills, your guns, your turrets, and kind of just everything in between to melt stuff. And it's a lot of fun. I could still go down for some further modification, but this is kind of what I've come up with, and this seems to be the best iteration of it so far, and I'm just having a really, really good time with it so far. We can start with the skills. Do have 2 turrets. Blighted turret, cryo turret is going to be your main turret. Blighted is really just to kind of throw it out and have it boost your damage from the sets, and then cold snap, which is, I would say, one of the best skills in the game. And then in terms of class stuff, we have mostly down the survivability tree here. So you can get a lot of max health increases and a lot of cooldown reduction on your gadgets, which are 2 of your 3 skills. You do want to dip down into the anomaly territory a little bit here, because once you activate decay skills, which is your blighted turret, that gives you a 30% anomaly power boost. Here is enemy damage. This is freeze, gives enemies vulnerable, and then you increase the effect of vulnerability, telling you after you freeze stuff and start shooting them, you will really see the effects of this in action. Here you can skip things like healing increase, because I think your survivability is going to be good enough for stuff like this, increase healing by 20%. And then the final capstone skill here is gadget skills will increase your anomaly power and weapon damage by 40% for 10 seconds. And this gives you a second life, which I don't find I need to use very often in this build. The only time I died recently was when I was trying to face tank a boss without dodging his AoE abilities at all, which I got him to like 95% dead, but it still wasn't enough. In terms of your packs tree, this is where I start splitting off from Glad. So Glad goes all the way up this side and does the everything inflicts toxic, and then that will transform into additional statuses, and then you deal 5% more damage to on every status inflicted. This is usually like 10 to 20% damage increase, which is fine, but I went all the way down this tree, and I'll kind of explain why. So this is anomaly power just increasing by 20%. I'm trying to get skill leech even higher than it is right there. This is some healing. This is where things get interesting. So hasten influence reduces the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by half a second for every status removed by you or applied to an enemy by any player. So even solo, this really adds up quickly because of all the different statuses you'll be inflicting, and I will kind of go into that in a little bit here. But then we get to this final charge here, where it's a burrowing charge. Critical shots inject enemies with an explosive charge for 5 seconds, dealing 250% of anomaly power as damage upon the next critical shot taken, 5-second cooldown. So that can happen every 5 seconds. And so my base anomaly power is 229, which, is fine, but 250% of that is what, like 600? I can't do the math. 550, 600, but that's before any buffs. So we've seen the 30% buff from a gadget skill or a decay skill, 40% from another skill. So this starts getting pretty high pretty quickly. And then we have the skill that is needed for pretty much all anomaly power builds Mage's Rage, which critical shots increase anomaly power 10% for 15 seconds, stacks 4 times. Really easy to get 4 crit shots with anything pretty much. So that's another 40%, and then there's some other skills in here I'll go through. But the point is like you really start getting some pretty big boosts here to your anomaly power, where that shot really starts hitting hard. The end of this will be some gameplay where I just kind of show you what the build looks like in practice without commentary. I still have to record that. Is my my current session I have ongoing here, but I'm going to go through the gear now so you can kind of see what I'm working with. This is my Sunfall, which I am having a very good time with. So this has Mage's Rage on it. It also has both Death Ray and Firestorm, which are the 2 different laser beam skills that are now on one weapon. So Death Ray is an anomaly beam that deals that much damage every 0.3 seconds, and I believe since it's an anomaly beam, it scales higher with anomaly power. And then Firestorm inflicts burn on enemies, which plays into the putting a status on an enemy thing. It's burn within a radius of enemies, so that can be applied burn to a whole bunch of enemies instantly with this skill. So that's reducing your cooldowns just from that. You'll also notice a consistent theme of every single thing I have here has status power on it. This is my active gun, so this is status power. And this also has skills life leech on it. That is because cryo turret scales with status power, and then you will be applying a bunch of statuses, so those do a lot of damage. My secondary slot, I'm kind of playing around with it a little bit. This is the Final Penance that I've kind of left alone. This also has Mage's Rage on it, just to have that active, even if I'm using a different gun. I use more of this for kind of longer range, since this is an SMG. Anomaly Enhancement gives this really good baseline damage, because you're getting you can see how much your firepower goes up by switching to this, because it does 40% of your anomaly power. And when this increases, that scales. So your firepower is going to go way up too once all your anomaly power bonuses kick in. This also has Noxious Spawns, which will do a lot of... This is 118,000 damage, but this is scaling with something that it's a couple 100,000 damage usually when I see it. These little things flying around everywhere. So that is another kind of way to apply Toxic if you want, in addition to your Blighted Turret. This, I don't have this is just for the level at this point. There's no real strategy behind this. A lot of people put Mage's Rage on their sidearm and then switch to their other guns for more damage stuff, but I don't know. It's fine having it up all the time. All of this is transmogged, so it's a little deceptive. The basis of this set is the Technomancer set, where using turret skills increases turret damage by 10%. This stacks 10 seconds, and this stacks for 5 times and can last up to 10 seconds. The reduction of power in the Pax tree, or in cooldown in the Pax tree, means you could spam those turrets even more often. Although I will say one thing I am lacking right now is the double cryo turret, because I literally just have not gotten that piece yet. That is a key piece of most double turret builds that are turret focused. But again, like, I am not even wholly focused on the turrets here. This helmet, again, everything status power, everything cooldown reduction for the most part. And then anomaly on these 3 pieces. So cryo turrets, it just doubles the fire output. That's extremely good. Cold Snap is probably one of the best possible skills you can get on any techno build, because you will just AoE explode entire groups of enemies instantly with that. And it causes a chain reaction that is unlike anything else. Charged Up, it's adding essentially another 700,000 damage if I'm aiming down my sights, because the charge can build up to 2 times. This is normally like a firepower skill, but I have seen this do really well on the guns that I'm using. Was not going for this. This is just something I happen to roll on this mask. And this is my only Technomancer's mask, because that's what I'm using. Here, I'm debating what the good rotating thing is here for Danger Close. This is, if you can get a 24% anomaly power boost, this is probably where I'd put in the double turret thing if I got it. It's good, it's just a little inconsistent, and then it goes away when you're killing these AoE mobs that are frozen around you. So there may be a better skill to put there. Increased cryo turret damage, 8,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but that is base damage, and you want a high base damage value to get higher stuff over time. And then I just have damage absorber on this. I have a couple of these, but this is like, what's the actual one? This one is critical damage by resistance piercing, which is fine, I guess, but and then this one is fixing wave, which I'm not even using, so I landed on this one. It's just survivability, which is fine. Obviously, there are probably better things I could get in that slot. And then I just recently got the leg armor here. Doubles the fire rate, so we have double barrels and double the fire rate, and then eventually we'll get double the turrets. And then I put Shatter on this for 16% more damage against frozen enemies. Move Groove, just increase anomaly power and firepower when you're moving, which is almost always, again, better. Could be a better thing to put there, but these are my only pants right now that have anything remotely. Yeah, I keep getting confused by the transmog. Yeah, these are my only Techmonger's pants, I believe, right? Yeah, I think so. So that's what I'm working with for now. These ones, so you can kind of make the choice here whether you want to put more anomaly power on these, which will pretty much make you use a purple item, or if you want to stick with this for some sort of tier 3 intrinsic perk. So for Plague Sower, that gives us 16% more damage for enemies afflicted by Toxic, which is going to be most enemies. And then Crowd Turret cooldown decreased by 50%, so you can spam that more often. This also has Aura of Force intrinsically, which is just more anomaly power on crit shots for everyone on your team. I've mostly been running this solo, but, you know, it's something, so that's fine. And then this is, I don't know if this is the best set of boots for me anymore. You can see how, like, I'm rarely getting boot drops, though. Like, I almost never get boot drops, which is very irritating. I also only have, like, 2 of the new helmets that are not these like individualized helmets. It's very frustrating to try and get set boots and set helmets right now. So this is what I'm working with. This gives better damage to the Plague Turret, which is something. It's not like amazing, but it's fine. And then Hail Shot is really important to have because it increases your turret's damage based on your status power. And as you've seen, I have 170% status power, I think. No, 150. Oh wait, no, I'm on the wrong weapon. There we go. 176% status power. So you can see that that is pretty important, and then that will increase your, I don't know the exact scaling, but it really helps. And then this has Untamed Power on it, which is always a good skill. Does 30% of your anomaly power, which again, if you're doing boosts, once you're throwing your turrets down, you have frozen enemies around you, and you have all those buffs on, it's going to really add up here. So what you're doing is kind of a mix between you're spamming turrets constantly, spamming the freeze constantly, and then you can really insta-nuke even elites with all of the stuff combined here in a way that is very fun. Again, may benefit a little bit from the double turrets being thrown down, but like you're usually moving through enemies so fast that it doesn't really even matter that you have 2 turrets down. It would be better for bosses, certainly. This is okay against bosses in its current form. It's not as hard as like a Blightfire build to take down bosses with, but it is very much a mob clearing build at its core. So that is, I think I covered everything. No, I didn't do Ascension. Status power, resistance pierce, anomaly power. I'm only rank 30 here, so you're going to probably fill the rest of these out. Skill leech is, I think I have something that scales on skill leech that I should probably increase there next. Anomaly damage, cooldowns, weapon leech is always good, armor pierce is always good. I think the survivability on this is fine, especially with the health pieces I have. So I'll just do a little bit of footage here so you can see this in action. So thanks for watching, and yeah, let's see if you want to watch through the end here. If not, no worries, but you can just see how the build performs.
What else has been passed here in 1,000 years? Father must have sealed the passage with the Cybalisk somehow.